Council meetings are long and boring. Wouldn't it be great if they were short and unboring? This is why I've invented the 5. Make it 10. We'll be lucky if it's under 15. 15-minute meeting! All right, here we go. Ashland City Council meeting of April 15th. Mayor's announcements. The wildfire series is continuing throughout town. And May 4th is free green debris drop-off at the Valley View garbage dump. I hope you know where that is. And then this guy shows up and okay, I'm quitting. Yeah, no kidding. Family health issue is making me have to move from Ashland, and he's quitting immediately, like that second. And he said he's going to put his house on the market tonight. So I hope things go well as they can for this guy. And there's a big applause and 5-minute break. And then this guy goes. So this guy goes. He goes, hey. So I propose we appoint a new counselor taking applications from citizens until May 14th, and we interview them, and then on June 2nd, we appoint somebody. All approved. And then the consent agenda. This one says, she goes, hey, budget transfer for Pioneer Hall and Community Center. Does that allow them to finish the work and open? And then City Manager Sabrina Cotta says, supply chain delays, so who knows exactly when things will open. And this guy goes, why? This guy goes, hey, why are we moving money? And Finance Director Marion Berry says, we under budgeted, so we need a supplemental budget. Man, under budgeted, that sounds way better than, we just guessed and it turned out to be wrong. And then Mayor said it's city attorney Doug McGarry's last. Oh, I know, I forgot Doug McGarry's picture. No, wait, there he is, Doug McGarry. City Manager Doug McGarry's last meeting. Here's a book. I give him old book, old photos. Applause, and they took a photo. And then it's the CDBG. Community development grants with housing, city housing person, Linda Reed. She looks like Wonder Woman kind of, I think. And she says most of the usual funding is being used at 2200 Ashland Street, the new homeless shelter building. And Maslow asked for $18,000, and the rest, the $6,000, is going to Aura, and we think that's pretty good. And then this guy goes, I don't know. I disagree. I think Aura doesn't have a shower location yet, so why give them money for a maybe project? And the executive director of Aura showed up and said, well, the money would help set up and figure out the new shower trail location. And it's coming in next month. And then there's public short forum, and the director of Aura was on public forum and said, hey, this money will help in general for staff and such like that. And we love Maslow too, of course. And the Maslow lady said, we're doing great things with troubled and homeless high school kids. And then this guy goes, hey, I move that we approve the next item on the agenda. And then housing lady goes, yeah, well, that's not this item. And he goes, I'm a kidder. I was just joking around. I moved to give $18,000 to Maslow and $6,000 to Aura. And then this guy goes, hey, I don't know. I moved to amend that and put all $24,000 to Maslow because the shower thing's not set to go. And this one says, she goes, most of this money, I think it's like $130,000 total that is going to 2200 Ashland. She goes, it's going to the 2200 Ashland. And the showers and laundry are being put in there. So it seems like we're doubling down on those. So I agree with putting the $24,000 to Maslow. And the amendment passed 3-2 because these two guys said, they go, that's a dumb amendment. We should do what I said, not what he said. And then he goes, I agree. And then it lost 3-2, those two. And then once it lost, they go, okay, so we're going to vote on the final thing. And it all passed. And then Linda Reed, the city housing lady, said, now the 2025 to 2029 CDBG, Community Development Block Grants, 5-year plan. This money comes from HUD. Oh, shit. That's Donald and Elon's money now. We're in trouble. But the city normally gets $162,000 a year, and HUD requires a 5-year plan, even though we vote in 2-year chunks, and that was all approved. And then this guy, Brandon Goldman, our what is he? Planning guy. He's our planning guy. He said, here's the second reading of that Clay Street lot annexation we talked about the last meeting. And it was all approved. And then public safety, wildfire, and parks fees. This is the big one, guys. There are 2 resolutions. One for the public safety and wildfire fees, and a separate one for parks fees. So, City Manager Sabrina Cotta, she says, we've reduced every department budget by 5%. And right now, the fees are $1.50 a month for public safety and $3 for wildfire and $0 for parks. This first resolution asks for $5 a month for public safety and $7 a month for wildfire. And this guy says, he goes, hey, that 3% revenue increase on that chart doesn't make sense considering we're going to have a 9% water-free fee increase. And Finance Director Marion Barry, she says, well, blah, 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 finance, blah, 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 finance. This is where Marion Barry starts her stop making sense to her. Oh, more to come on that. And this one says, you're confusing taxes and fees, I believe. And Sabrina Cotta, city manager, says, well, plus we had $500,000 in vandalism. So, and on the PowerPoint slide, the line item only rent transients, not vandal transients, rude. And then, and parks costs are up for employees. Housing there is up, and operations costs and herbicides and maintenance, and the food and beverage tax is restricted for park capital improvement projects only. And this one goes, the food and beverage is not only CIP, capital improvement. It can go to maintenance and repairs, and the staff while they're doing maintenance and repairs, not just CIP. And then this guy goes, here he goes. He goes, oh, hey, what does parks say maintenance is? You quote, and so, here come Parks Director Rocky Houston, because his name's Rocky. So look at that. Comes up and says, and so begins the Rocky and Marion Berrywinkle show. We're going to show you Rocky and Finance Director Marion Barry. Oh, they got a show for us tonight.
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. See? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Wrong hat.
So, this guy says, maintenance is mowing, repairing, light bulb replacing, refurbishing bathrooms, that kind of stuff. And this genius says, he goes, hey, can we build trails with food and beverage money? And Rocky says, yeah, sure. And then he goes, what about berms on trails? And he goes, yeah, okay, sure, yeah. He goes, what about like jumps and log offs? And he goes, yeah, whatever, that's fine. And then this one goes, someone said the ambulance crew costs $1.6 million a year, but brings in $2.4 million. Is that still on track? And Marion Barry, she says, she goes, yeah, still on track, but the fire department is costs are getting up so that the excess that it made isn't as much percentage wise, so it's like we're losing money.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
Wrong hat.
I take a 7.5.
And then there was a little public forum chunk, and one guy, remember 5G guy? He's there. He says, ambulance service is getting worse. Why are we paying more for public safety if it's getting worse? And then this guy goes, there you go. He goes, hey, apparently this resolution includes an escalation each year attached to a CIP. That's the Consumer Price Index. I don't trust it. I don't trust that CIP thing. And she goes, hey, I don't like this automatic escalation either. And this guy says, I love it because other councilors are weak and will never vote to raise taxes. I've got solar company money. It doesn't matter to me. The poor don't buy my panels. And then this guy goes, I add that if yearly escalations is ever 5% or more, it must come to the council for a vote. All approved. And then public forum for the parks fee, which, by the way, has shifted from $5 a month to $9 a month just recently. I don't know when, just recently. And so, ready? Maroon Hoodie guy says North Mountain Park is, and all parks are amazing. 1 week notice to close North Mountain is disrespectful. And Feather in his cap guy said losing North Mountain Park is losing a big part of Ashland. Green ball cap guy says, I work for parks. I support the $9 fee. White coat goatee guy says, I've lived here for 50 years and I'm appalled there's no money for the golf course. It's a joke and it shouldn't be. Glasses leash lady said, I'm low income and I use the community garden and I support the $9 fee. And the park patrol guy said, fun fact, I remove 40 pounds of dog poop per day at the dog park. Glad to do it, and that's what you can call a level of service. And then a 6-year-old girl said, keep pools and ice skating because they are fun and I'm cute. That was well played, Mom. Well played. And then Big Hoop Earrings said, I use North Mountain Park every day. Don't fire Jen. And then Jen, the nature director there, says, I pay $6 a month for parks in Central Point where I live, and I'm glad to do it. Don't cut any park services. And a girl with some hair said, my family loves that salmon festival. And a tall Teamster leader said, parks workers unionized a couple weeks ago, pay more or we cut everything? That's a false choice. And then backwards ball cap guy said, I was at the Parks Commission meeting and it was not transparent. If we only pay $5 a month, we still lose services? It didn't make any sense. And then a lady said, I volunteer to run the community. I'll volunteer to run the community gardens for free. And a mustache and beard guy says, you know who uses parks? Families. And then Tiny Glasses, the parks commissioner, said, don't make us admit that food and beverage tax can be used for maintenance. And then this guy says, where is he go? Where'd he go? Kaplan, come on, buddy. There he is. He goes, the math doesn't make sense. And this guy says, I have a mole in some kind of parks committee. And he says, he told me that his committee put all these program cuts in and prioritized them and weighted them and ranked them and listed. And Parks just went, whatever, we're cutting them all. What are they threatening? All right, ready? This is what Parks says they have to shut down. They're going to close Daniel Meyer Pool, close the Garfield Splash Park, close North Mountain Nature Park and fire employees there, close all community gardens, cut the senior center to 2 days a week and fire employees there, cancel the East Main Park project, eliminate environmental education programs and fire employees there, close the ice rink, close parks restrooms and only have porta potties. No salmon festival, no bird day, weeding might not happen anywhere, and Pioneer Hall and Community Center will never open. So Parks is saying every house in Ashland pays us $9 more per month, or it'd be a shame if something might happen to your nature center, you know what I'm saying? That's not a fee, that's protection money. So this one goes, hey, so the $5 fee generates $600,000 a year. And then Marion Barry goes, she says, well, no, it will help contribute to not doing cuts.
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! No doubt about it. I gotta get another hat.
Was the Parks Commission involved? And this guy's at all in this? And this guy goes, yeah, we're in charge of operations, and because I'm a parks director, so this is all operations. And this one jumped to support him, saying, oh, you know, costs are up too, so it is what it is, you know. And then this one says, he goes, this is pretty sudden. I think it needs more discussion. And this one says, what does this one say? So I move we have the $9 fee per every electric meter, so every house. And I'm just like regular people and, you know, any other solar company owner. And I don't like fees and I don't want to just throw money at stuff. But I think people, you know, just like me who own solar companies or institutions or institutes agree that every house in Ashland should throw $9 a month at parks and assume it's all going to go great. And this one says, if we vote for the $9 a month now, we can lower it before January 1st. And this guy goes, this process is terrible. I'm not against parks fees, but I won't be threatened into voting for this fee. And this one says, there's no budget. How did we even get here? This is what a false choice looks like. I love parks, but I am internally furious. Externally, he was covering it good. He didn't look it, but man, he said, I am internally. And then this one says, I agree with Bloomingdale. Oh, Bloomingdale's. This needs time. And she said Bloomingdale's. She made that joke. That was a pretty good one. And then there's, oh yeah, where's the this one? So the mayor goes. She goes. I think we need to vote for it, or things will get cut. So one of you who is about to say no should say yes. And this is the look on Rocky and Marion Berrywinkle, and it says, maybe we have misread this room. And the vote was 3-2 against. Think about it. Councilor Doug Knauer, where's that guy? This guy. He quit, so he wasn't there. Probably would have voted yes, because new councilors tend to eat everything city staff serves them, while older councilors tend to say, hey, last time you served this, there were rat feces on the bottom. So, but he would have voted probably yes, and the vote would have been 3-3. And Mayor Lady, she's afraid, and she would have voted yes, and she would have put a yes on there. And so, pay attention to who the new counselor is, because it matters. At the meeting, you're welcome.